This is all the stuff that I should need to install some outdoor speakers for a customer tomorrow. Now I've absolutely no idea what I'm doing, but the customer understands that. They're a good customer of ours. We've done cameras for them, we've done Wi-Fi for them on their yard, and they're setting up a Santa's grotto for the season and wanting some outdoor speakers just to play some background music while people mingle around the markets. So we've got ourselves an amp. Yep, that's the amp. And here we should have 4 outdoor speaker units. Now it's currently just gone 8 o'clock, it's after work, and I'm going to try and get this setup working, at least get one of the speakers working in the office, so that I know the system itself actually works before I go and install it officially tomorrow. So this could go one or two ways actually. It could go really, really well and the speaker works, or we are just about to throw the best part of 1,200 quid, yeet it out the window. Let's find out. First things first is the amp. Now it's a TOA amp. That comes with the instruction manual, so we'll definitely be looking at that at some point. For now, let's just see if we can figure this out. After reading the manual, I think I've got some understanding of how this is supposed to work. The first thing is to take off this cover. Right, we've got one speaker, so I'm not exactly sure which way around these are supposed to go, so I'm going to put, I'm going to guess. So we'll try black in there. Tomorrow I'm going to nip off to the supplier and get some proper crimp ends for these. So I'll quickly nip into the supplier tomorrow morning. So put that into there, that into there. Moment of truth. Knocking onto Bluetooth. Scan for a Bluetooth device. Oh, that's not what I wanted. I think that's the TV. Cancel that. Oh, it's connected. It's connected. Right. So guess just try a song. Right. That hasn't worked. After a bit of fettling about with both the amp and the speaker, I figured out that there was an MP3 audio gain on the left hand side of the amp that just needed increasing. Oh my god!
Wanna go home, wanna have fun, wanna be happy, could you show me how it's done?
Right, that's enough of that before I get banned off YouTube, but that works. So we got actual volume.
So we will find the right for that car, and they will appreciate and love it as much as
definitely. But then as soon as you've sold that car and you swapped it for money, whatever that amount of money is.
Oh my god, we actually got it working. I can't believe that it just kind of worked the first time. Right, well, while we're here, let's see if we can do another one. See if we can get 2 speakers working together. Because I want to try and run these in series, so we've got them running off trees. So the customer wants them kind of up high, out of the way, so that sound is there, but they can't really see the speakers, and they'll be like mounted in trees because it's a wooded forest area. So let's just see if we can get another one working. Right, this doesn't look very pretty, but I've got a bit of speaker wire now coming out of the terminals, wired into the common hot, which I guess is just positive and negative. And then from that point onwards, they go to. And then from that point onwards, they go to 2 more speakers now, wired in parallel.
I am doing the ultimate 24-hour trip to a private racetrack, which until today nobody has ever driven on. And we're going to see who is fastest between myself and Matt Arm.
That's done. So the only thing left to do is get all this packed up, put in the van, and then we can jump to site like. Contrary to popular belief, Santa doesn't live in Lapland. In fact, he spends half his year in Chorley in a forest just outside Charnock Richard. Today I'm installing some speakers for him. Let me show you where I'm going to put them. Now the speakers are going into the trees, so we need to run the wires through the trees. I've done a little bit of research about doing this, so you'll have to forgive me in the comments if I get this wrong, but I'm going to give it my absolute best shot. There's a concertina wire running between 2 trees which connects one side of the village to the other side of the village, and then we'll run the wires through the trees and connect them up to 4 of the speakers that I'm installing. I might not get everything finished today, but what my aim is just to get everything kind of first fix, so that I'm just terminating and testing everything on Monday if I need to come back. Let's make a start. First job is the concertina wire, which is going from a tree that's over there across to a tree that's just close to us here. So I'm going to figure out how the hell I run the concertina wire, because I've never done one before, so let's learn together. After googling and watching some videos on YouTube, installing one of these concertina wires is actually pretty straightforward. I do a little bit of hedge trimming with our grinder. I know I've got the wrong disc on that, but essentially you attach the ring side of the kit to one side or one tree or building, and on the other side you attach the hook. This part of the kit is called a thimble eye. As far as I know, it's a guide that the wire sits through and round and protects the wire. I guess it stops it just rubbing away metal on metal, and also means adjusting the wire tighter or looser is easier. Once that bit's done, it's a case of making sure the wire's the right length, then feeding the cable tensioners through the wire and fishing them through the thimble, and finally tightening them down. I definitely didn't have the right tool for tightening these little tiny nuts down, but I don't think you'd be able to get a spanner in there properly anyway, so the long nose pliers that I had in the van just worked the same. Once I got everything fairly tight, it was just a case of climbing up the ladder and attaching the hook to the hook, and then you tension the wire using the hook and eye. So you wind it in to tension it and wind it out to release that tension on the wire. I'd actually cut the wire way too long, which meant that I had to redo the clamps on the wire, but eventually with a little bit of fettling I got it about right. But it's done. We've got the wire in there. I hope you can see that on the camera. It's not fully tensioned right now, but I might leave a little bit of slack on it, because if I don't and the wind blows these trees, I don't want it to over tension that wire. So I'll leave a little bit of slack. I will tension it up a little bit, but for now I'm going to start running in the speaker wires. They'll come down this tree line here, back to the guide wire, back over to the other side where it'll go back into the amp. My idea for fixing them to the trees is to use these little, what we call wall anchors. So we'll use these on a job. You drill an 8mm hole and then you just hammer them in and put a zip tie through it. After doing a bit of reading online, I was advised not to directly clip the cable to the tree itself, because if the tree starts to grow over that cable, then it'll probably damage it over time. And I'm not sure how long they're going to want to keep these speakers up for. They might just want them for this year, they might want to keep them for years to come, so we might as well future-proof it and do the job right when we can. So let's get on with that.
What has been lost in the trees?
Right, so that's one speaker wire already run. It feels weird running them in series or parallel. They call it parallel, don't they, when you run it like this? So you loop each speaker off itself, whereas with cameras we would normally run a separate wire to every camera. In this I'm just looping around, almost like a ring main in a house, I guess, in that respect. The speaker that's gone all the way down there is linked through these trees to the speaker that's going at the entrance to this grotto, which is there, and off that we'll go across the guide wire back to the speaker that's across there, and then link into the amp. How good do you reckon my lasso skills are? I've got to lasso this over the top of this. This shed. Still dogs. Did we get it? I don't think so. So pretty much 3 speakers down. I just need to do the return to the amp on that side and run the 4th speaker, which is going up and over here. Weird working on speakers because I keep just losing track of where I'm up to. With camera stuff I just run a wire to every camera and I just know that I've run 3 wires, but here it's like a ring almost, so I've got to piggyback one off another, so yeah, keep losing where I'm up to in my head. Biggest challenge that I've got when running the speaker wire to that tree there is this gate here. Now I can't come across the gate because I guess it's used as some sort of like fire exit, which means that, and I can't loop it over the top because that'll just look rubbish. So what I'm going to do is, because I like making my life really hard work, is I'm going to dig out a little trench in the floor and lay a little bit of conduit underneath this path. I'm not going to dig down like miles, I'm just going to dig down enough just to bury the conduit, because it's only speaker wire really at the end of the day. And that'll mean that I can then clip the rest of the wire to the back of this fence all the way along, and then same on that way all the way along, and then link into the tree in which it's going into, so that the speaker's all connected. So let me get my spade out of the van. There we have it, all the cables run for the speakers. My hair's full of like tree biz. Probably me and Jack will come back Monday, we'll get the speakers all mounted and then we can get everything tested and show you it all working. Our first speaker system fitted. I'm going home for a beer. Catch you in the morning. Good morning. It's Monday, it's absolutely freezing. It froze last night. But we're back at Santa's Grotto to finish off the speakers that we started on Friday. After some digging over the weekend, I realised I used completely the wrong type of fixing for this environment, and that's because I needed to use stainless steel screws and not just traditional zinc coated wood screws. That's because the screws, zinc will just rust a lot faster, I guess, than stainless steel. But you won't believe that this pack of screws was 24 quid. 24 quid. Jesus, man. But it just means that the screws will stay in the tree for longer, they won't rust as quick, and well, I certainly don't want that guide wire failing on them at any point soon. So I'm going to swap the fixings over to the guide wire. I won't film that because that's boring. And then Jack's with us today. He's somewhere around here clipping a cable, and I'm going to get Jack on with helping me fix the speakers up, and we can actually get some booming sounds of Christmas coming through this grotto today. So let's get cracking on. Off camera, I connected up one of the speakers, and we also got the amp on. We got it all working, and I was going to be like, oh my god, look how well we've done. But yeah, have a look at this. What I've in fact done is loop it through the guide wire fixing point back into the box. We've obviously neatly connected them up with the proper crimps and a bit of heat shrink. So I'm now going to have to cut these back and loop it in so that it can actually all sit inside the waterproof box. Top job. Well done, Pete. Right, so that's connected now in the right way that it should be. We've tested the amp. I've also done the amp side as well. So the last thing for me to do is just to do the heat shrink on this one so that it's all nice and done together. Put the faceplate on, and then we can move on and just start working our way through doing the other speakers. You can't see it really that well on camera, but I have put some proper crimped connectors on the end of it. Now the only thing that me and Jack aren't sure about is what to do about these earth or shield wires on the see if you can get in there. Yeah, these earth or shield wires that are on the cable. There is a ground on the back of the amp. Probably helps if I keep the camera the right way around. There is a ground on the back of the amp, but just with how far away that ground is from the actual main terminal blocks, I'm not sure that it should be wired in that way. So let me know what you think. Should I have run a cable from the ground to these wires and then just shielded it with a bit of earth sleeving, or do they not need grounding at all? So far the speaker's working absolutely fine without it. So we'll get the rest of them connected, and while I'm going along I'll just twist the grounds together inside the waterproof boxes, and then if we decide at the end, yeah, we should really ground these, then at least I can ground them at this side, and it's grounded for all. Right, passes one of the bolts. I'll just need the other bolt first, thanks, yeah, and then I'll need the spanner just to tighten her up. So there we have it. We have 1, 2, 3 and 4 speakers fully connected for this Santa's Grotto / Winter Wonderland experience that there's got going on in Charnock Richard. I guess you want to hear it working. The problem is I can't use Christmas music because it's copyrighted, so it'll just mute it out on YouTube if I try and use that. See if I can. Jack, do you know any non-copyright music? Non-copy. What's NCS? Oh. to where I found out you had to buy this music anyway, and it was basically copyrighted until you bought it. As I mentioned before, this wire had this almost looks like an earth core inside of it. I don't think you can see that on the camera. And I twisted them together originally, going round the different speakers, and then realised for it to actually properly earth, there would have to be a return, wouldn't there, like a ring. I don't know a great deal about this, but I imagine there would have to be a ring completing the circuit back to the amp. It couldn't just be run as a radial, or else it's not really earth then, is it? Because there's nothing returning that loop back to the amp. So all in all, I'm not going to connect them to the ground. Let me know in the comment section if you think I've done the wrong thing there. Jack's just finishing off mounting or just moving one of the speakers, so that's pointing in the right direction for the customer. We've done a sound test and the sound's actually really good out of these. It's a nice little bit of background noise as people walk round and experience the Santa's grotto or little winter village. But all in all, I've quite enjoyed doing kind of audio visual stuff for once. Bit of a difference in just fitting cameras or fitting Wi-Fi points. Guess it's just another string to your bow. Never too old to learn something new. If you've enjoyed that video, if you have, I'll take it from here, Pete. I just wanted to say a massive thank you to everyone who has followed our YouTube journey since we first started just over 12 months ago. We've now reached our 1,000 subscriber, which means YouTube takes us seriously as a channel, and I'm putting a lot of effort into creating content that I hope you're finding enjoyable to watch. I also want to take this opportunity to wish you all a very Merry Christmas and an even happier New Year. I'll catch you on the other side.